Good evening, everyone, and I welcome you all in today's class. So the agenda for today's class we'll be quickly going through the content which we discussed yesterday and then moving ahead with our next data type, which is very interesting, and we'll be learning more about it later. And in case if anyone has any doubt, please stop me in between. So you can stop me anywhere. No need to wait. Means I can answer in between also. So please feel free to ask any question or any doubt which you have. So let's begin with today's class. So we'll be discussing for a while about what we discussed yesterday. So we started with understanding what is Python, which ID will be using in this course, like we discussed about Google Colab and Jupyter Notebook. And then we moved ahead with what are different data types which are in Python. And we discussed just in brief about uh, and we studied in detail only about numbers, data type, and booleans. So today we'll be covering strings and some part of list, and later we'll move ahead. So in numbers, we studied what are the basic arithmetic operations which can be performed in Python, how to print, actual means actual output. Then we moved on to some basic operations like what different operators like AND operator, OR operator, then bitwise shift operator left and right, how to perform each of these. And these documents which through which I'm teaching will be provided you in few days. So no need to means write or just write important points. You can just concentrate on what I am showing. And later you will have this so you can then revise with this also. Then we saw what is how unary plus and unary minus is operated. Like unary plus doesn't change the sign of the operand next to it, and unary minus changes the sign of the operator next to it. Then we understood what are the precedence rule for different operator if we encounter different combination of operators. Then how to go about means which operation will be performed first. Then we understood what are the operators. So what is the precedence? So first parenthesis will be operated, then exponentiation, and similarly these moving downward, these operators will be performed at last. And we saw some examples also about how the combination of different operators, how combination of different arithmetic operators are performed. Then we saw how to represent a scientific number, like if we have some large number, then how to represent that, how to represent a large scientific number and a very small if it is in power of 10 to the power minus 5, 6, anything like that. Then we moved on to discuss about integers. We studied what are integers, what are floating point number, and what are complex number. Although we'll not be dealing with complex number that much in this course. So then we understood what are variables, how variables exact store values, and what are how to check the type of variable means how what if you want to check what is the type of variable, like suppose this x is equals to 5, then if you want to check the type of this variable, then we can write type x or type y, and we can get like this y is a string type of variable. And how we should give the variable name we discussed in detail. And then how we can actually uh, assign multiple assignment to variables, like in one line how we can make multiple assignment to three or more means one or more variables in a single line. And this is the example which we had yesterday. Then we discussed a little bit about scope of variables, like I just only told that local variable scope is very limited. It changes if we move ahead in the program, and global variable has very large scope. It remains outside the scope of any particular loop even. So we'll discuss this when we are discussing loops and iterations. So we'll discuss it in more detail there, what are local variable and global variable. So after that, we discussed about the Boolean operators like and, or not, and saw its utility with the help of example, how these are operated. So now let's move on to today's agenda, which is understanding about strings, and this data type is very important, and we will encounter this more frequently in our data science problem. And this is one of the most important data type, and it has certain functions and methods, inbuilt functions and methods associated with it. We need to understand those as well in details in order to understand the string data type better. So we'll be starting with what are in string. So string in Python serves as a way to store textual information ranging from simple names to complex body of text, like even it can be one word, one alphabet, or any entire paragraph. So something like that. So essentially Python treats the string as sequences, meaning what does it mean? That it remembers the positions of each of the character. We'll understand how the positions, how we can access these positions. So in Python, the positions start from the index position, it starts from 0, and we'll see with the help of example also. So the sequential nature of a string allows for indexing, enabling the retrieval of specific character, like I said before, that if we want to retrieve particular word, particular character, which we can easily do that with the help of indexing. And if we want to means extract certain specific length of text from between a paragraph, that we can do with the help of slicing, which we'll see later, which will be more clear when we do it with help of some example. Then the concept of sequence is fundamental one in Python and plays a crucial role in how data is organized and manipulated. So if you understand this list data type, string data type better, then next data type list is also follows a similar sort of methods and functions, and that will be quite intuitive after learning this string data type, and that will be very easy to understand if you have mastered this string data type. So next, let's start with some examples and see how these works. So uh, we'll start by writing very simple word, like my word is a variable. So like I told yesterday, we should name the variable which has certain specific meaning. So here I have just written my word. And if you are using two or more word in a variable, then make sure to use this underscore in between. That otherwise, if you give a space, it will create problem in variable name. So if we print my word, so it will output us geometry. Then we can give also the full sentence, like data science integrates with multiple disciplines. We all know data science is involved in almost every discipline nowadays. So if we print this, it will give data science integrates with multiple disciplines. So now how to check the data type for a particular variable, we discussed yesterday also. So we can like write type, and in bracket we can, in parentheses, we can give the name of variable for which we want to know what data type. So print type sentence. So the data type for that is string class. And so there is one thing that you can write strings within single quote as well as within double quotes. Both is fine with Python. So both will produce the same result. So here I have shown one example with double quotes as well. So you can see here that there is no issue with. But there is one tricky thing, that if there is some apostrophe or some single inverted comma that is present in between your sentences, then it will create a problem. Like here, let's say our sentence is it's tricky to include apostrophes, and we have included that in single single quote. So if I run this, let me just connect with the server. So it's connecting. So it's better to write a string within double quotes, because we don't know whether we will encounter any apostrophe in between the sentence or not. So it's better that we should go with double quotes only. So like see, when I run this code, we'll get an error, undetermined string literal, because of this apostrophe. Whereas if we write these apostrophe within a double quotes, like it's easy with double quotes, print my text. So it will just give you the output. Like, let me run this as well. So like it has, see, it has easily run this line of code. And you hashtag, you can also write symbol. If you want to give symbol like hashtag, so you can include that within double quotes, and it will be also means taken as a string. And see, I have also you can check the type of that hashtag symbol also, and it is also showing us that it is of a string class. So next, we can declare a string directly in Python, like without the help of any variable, like we did with some mathematic operation, like we can easily perform directly in the cell. Like here, artificial intelligence directly declaring a string might show the output in Google Colab. So here we can see. But if we have multiple line of strings, one after the other, then Python will display only the last string which we have. Like in this case, if we have multiple lines of string, like machine learning, data science, so only data science will be displayed. So it's good practice to include these strings into some variable so that any information is not missed or something. Like we can use the print command to print both of these separately, and this will ensure that both of the strings are getting printed. So what we can do is we can take this into next line of code. So here, if you wanted to print both of these machine learning, so see here we can get both machine learning and data science. Earlier, if we didn't use print statement, so we'll get only the last statement. So now next is for how to get a line break, or how to means if we want to write some information, then we want to break the line and want the next information should continue from next line. So how to do that? And we can do that with help of slash n, backslash n for a new, like to include a line break within your output, use the new line character backslash n. So include, like this will give us the output like include in one line, and then for a new line will be printed in next line. Include, and for a new line is printed, then we have given an additional line break, so it will leave this line, and then again it is printing this is how, and then slash n, and then you can print and slash and multiple. So you can change the lines as many times as you want. Like you can give as many slash n as you want to break to different lines. And yeah, next very important thing is that comment. So comment are taken very lightly, but actually including a comment in a program, like I have included almost everything in comment. So including a comment in a program is a nice way of telling what this program or what this line of code is performing, and that will be easy. That will be easy for any users to read, or if you share your program online with anyone or your colleague, then it will be easy for him to understand, okay, that this portion of code is performing this task. And debugging will also be easy. If you encounter some problem, then you can directly go to that section and easily modify or change that line. So if you want to give certain, like this line comment, so if you include hashtag in the beginning, like this hashtag in, let me just add another. So if you include hashtag in beginning and you write anything you write after that, like my name is Sudhir. So it will not be, so Python will not be giving any output. It will be treated as comment, and anything coming after hashtag will not be treated means as a inline command or inline that will convey Python. Okay, we don't have to execute this line. And if you want to give multiple line of comments, so you can do that using three single quotes, starting with three single quotes and then ending with three, and you can write multiple lines between them to give uh, to include that in comment. And alternatively, like if you have this triple quotes is actually not followed that much, but what you can do is, like if you have some multiple line of code, multiple line of, like let's say, let's pick this only. Just I will tell you one keyboard shortcut which will be basically easy for you to comment multiple line as well. So if we have these kind of things and if you want some portion of code to not run in a particular, so you can, what you can do is you can select all of this and then press control and question mark. So it will comment all of these lines at once. And if you wish to remove all these comments, you can press again control plus question mark. The comments will be removed. So this is the more frequently used uh, method for commenting, because certain, because many a time there will be portion of codes which you don't want to run all the time, so you can comment easily, and there are multiple lines of code, so yeah, you don't know, means you put hashtag every single line, then it will be difficult. So you can select entire content and then press control plus question mark, and that will comment out the every line you have selected. So next we will understand how to calculate the length of a particular string. Suppose the string is written and how many character does it include, if you want to know. So len is one such function, and there are other function which will be discussed later. So len, how to use len? So like we have a phrase. This is a variable named phrase, and this contains hello world. And we want to know how many characters are there. What is the length of this variable phrase? So we'll use len, and in parentheses we will write that variable like phrase. So we should get the number of characters, including space and special characters if present. We'll get the result. So I think here there are 14 characters. So we can double check also, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1 space, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and 1 space is there, 14. So 40. So using the len function, you can count the number of character, or you can know about the length of a string. So this is quite useful, and we'll use len function very often when we move ahead and when we solve some data science problem or even data analysis kind of things, or in loop, this len function is pretty useful. So next, what I discussed in the introduction of string, that we can access any part of a string, any portion, any character, any number of fixed characters in between a particular string. If you want to do that, we can do that with the help of indexing. So string in Pythons are considered like sequence, allowing for indexing to access individual characters. Like next, each character is in a string is assigned a unique index starting with 0 and then 0, 1, 2, 3 like that. So first character will be assigned index 0. Then next with the sequence progresses with the second character at index 1 and so on. To access a character within a string, Python uses square brackets. So square brackets like these, open and close the square brackets following the string object and specifying the index number from which where we want to obtain that particular character. Like like example also, some code example I have also given, but let's see first. In a string like hello world, accessing the first character like h. So using my string and including square bracket the index position of that hello world, so 0. And for the eighth character, you can write W my string seventh. Since the number start from 0, so eighth character will be numbered 7. So similarly, what we can do is like we assign one variable text and we give some value, discrete Fourier transform. This is some mathematical concept. And then we print it. And if then this is the output of that. So I have written in a single cell. So next, uh, now let's begin with indexing. So to display the sixth element. So if you want to display the sixth character in this variable, so what should be the index? So index should be one less than the desired number of character, desired element, because indexing starts from 0. So if you want to get the sixth element, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So E is the sixth element. So text, and then and bracket, if we write 5, then we can get these value E. So next, if we want to display the character at index 16, so we can text and then it is directly given index 16, so we can write 16. Next, if you want to check the len, we already saw the len function above. So so how to access the element from the last? Suppose if you don't know the number of characters, number of what is the length of a particular variable which is storing a string, and you want to access the last element or second last element. So Python also support negative indexing. So like there are I think 26, 27 elements. So because uh, this this symbol this symbol is at 27. This is the 27th character. And if you want to access it from this side, from forward direction, it will be at 26th position. So text under bracket 26 will give you this exclamation mark. Sorry, I forgot the name. So, and the similar thing which you can do is like if you want to access this, you can do this by using print text -1. So okay, I have not run this cell. That's the error. So accessing from back, if you give -1, then also you can get the this symbol exclamation mark. Similarly, if we want to get the second this M, so it is 2 from the back side. So you can give here -2, and you can see that you can access. Because sometimes there is requirement that you need to access some characters from front, some characters from backside. So negative indexing is also important. So next is slicing. So in slicing, what we do, we pick certain number of characters, not just single element. If you want to pick single element, we can do that also. But slicing is mostly used for picking more than one character, like 2, 3. Or if you want in between 4, 5 characters, then we can do that using slicing. And string slicing utilizes the colon operator to extract a portion of the string. The start index of the desired slice is placed to the left of the colon, left side, and the end index indicating where the slice should stop is placed to the right of the colon. But remember one thing, that the character at the end index is not included in the slice. This will be more clear with the help of example, making the slice up to but not including this index. I will tell you what this line exactly means with the help of example. The slicing technique enables the selection and extraction of specific segments, specific, just hold on a second, actually, I'm getting one call, just, yeah, sorry. So next we were seeing slicing. Okay. So we have one variable named text, and we have machine learning and data science. So grab everything up to the 14th index. So we write, if we want to grab everything from start, so we don't give any value, like we'll leave it as blank before the left, to the left of the colon, we'll leave that it as blank. If you want to grab everything from start, and it is up to the 14th index, means not in, it should not include the 14th index. So here we have given 14, so it will include up to the 13th, means it will give up to the 13th character. So let me run and show you, like machine learn I. So if you count like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Okay, sorry, from 0 if you start, so I will be at 13th index, so that's why. So next, grab everything from 19th index to the end. So it is telling that from 19th index that you should include the 19th index and up to the last. So if you want to go to last, then now this time to the right of colon, you don't give any value. It will automatically take up to the last of this. So like D and D data science. So here actually it was 13. 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. So this small d is at the 19th index. So it has picked from here to the end. Now, next, extract a specific slice between indices. Like if you want to, like if you are giving 8 to 19, this means that 8 index will be included, but 19th will not be included. So we can see that also, like eighth is learning. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So this capital L of learning is included, and 19th we saw earlier that this D is at the 19th index. So this one is not included. So it is taking only up to 18. So the index position which we mentioned to the right of the colon will be one, Python will be extracting one minus that index. So now what omitting the start index grabs everything up to the end index. Like just ignore these examples. This we have just discussed that if we want to uh, start from the beginning and go up to the fifth index, and then similarly if you want to start anywhere in between and go to the end index, and if you want to like include everything, like you want to include everything in the variable, so you can mention this text colon and just don't give any value in between, so it will take entire it will print entire variable like machine learning and data science. We can see the output here as well. So next year also we saw the use of negative indexing to grab the last character earlier. And if you want to include the last four characters, like let's see what are the last four characters. So last four character is this four. These sorry, this four is the last four characters. So if you want to include these last four, so minus four up to the end. So minus four will give you the position of this, and from this move forward. So we'll get this. And there is one more attribute to this slicing. Like if we want to include the step size, like if we want to pick after a certain interval, like here, if we go on grabbing all the element after one step, that means you want to pick every character. So we have got machine learning and data science complete. And next, if we want to pick character at the step size of 3, that means leaving 2 in between. So we'll get like after M, these two will be omitted, and then we'll get H, then these IN will be omitted, and we'll get E. So similarly, you can do that. You can give your desired step size in between. Like here it has used a step size of 2, and similarly reverse the entire string. So actually this is very useful. This will come quite handy when we perform certain tasks in data science. This is required quite frequently there. So reversing the entire string. So you can do, when you learn loop, you can do that with the help of loop also, but that will be certain some 4 to 5 lines of program. But with the help of slicing, you can just write it in one line. So what you need to do is just give colon and then colon and give -1 as step size. So it will take each element starting from that with a step of size 1. So, and then in same thing in between, if you want to reverse a slice of a string means you want to pick from the back side, you can give the step size in negative. So strings in Python are immutable. That means that if you have declared one variable which contains a string, then you cannot change the character in between with or replace even with another character, which is not the case in case of list, the data type which we'll be studying next. So like we stored the variable we store the value Python in text. And if we suppose, if we want to change the first character, like here we have first character P. If we want to change this P to some other character like J, so if we try this, we'll get an error. Like, so, so this is the property, immutability is the property which does not allow any change within a particular value once it has been declared. So next is how to combine strings. So if you want to combine strings, so we can just concatenate with the help of this addition operator. So like prefix is micro plus soft. So I have given one space also in between. So if you remove this space and if you want to see like then Microsoft will come together. So similarly, but if we want to concatenate with the any in number data type, like we studied yesterday, that if you have some number and if you want to concatenate with that, so like if you write similarly, uh, just like above you have written for that, like prefix plus then some number 365 plus suffix, then you will get an error. So, so the next thing is, so the thing is, if you want to do that, you want to convert its data type, or there are some other methods which we'll study later. So for now, you can convert like this is integer data type. If you check the type of year, like let me show you. So you can you will see that the type of is int, and here with the help of casting, you can cast one data type to another. So if you want to convert a particular string type to a particular data type to string, like number data type to string, just you have to write a string and in parentheses you write that variable name. So now it will be converted to string, and you can easily combine with this help of addition or concatenate operator. So like reassigning a new string to the same variable, like phrase. Earlier, we had earlier defined like phrase equals to join. So now if we want to add something more, so we can do that just by adding what is required. And if we want to repeat a certain string, like if we have this uh, word echo, and if we want to repeat it 3 times, we want echo written side by side 3 times. So we can just use this multiplication operator, and it will understand that you have to write, Python will understand. So echo, echo, echo 3 times it will be printed. So this can be also quite useful. So next we have Python, like Python strings. I already told that it comes with quite useful functions and methods. So Python strings come with variety of built-in functions and methods that allow us to perform different operations on the string data. Below, we'll explore all these functions, and we'll be first starting with functions. I think function is just one function is there, and there are methods. There is a difference between function and method, which we'll understand later when we will be understanding more about functions and methods and object-oriented programming. So there, the difference will be clear. So what is functions, what is methods? For time being, just understand that functions are applied differently. I will show you how, and methods are applied differently. If you want to apply certain functions to a string, then you have to write it differently. And if you want certain methods to be applied to string, you have to write differently. So if like len was a function, so if you want to use function for a string, then write the name of function, and inside the parentheses, write the name of variable on which you want to perform that function. So like if you want to calculate the length of this variable, like example, so you can give len and then example. Whereas methods, So how to operate method? So like, let me run this also. So if you want to operate methods, you have to write the variable name. After that, put a dot and write the name of the method, like example dot lower. So lower is a method that converts all characters in string to lowercase. Like here we have machine learning. So here M is capital and L is capital. So if we apply this example dot lower, all things will be in lower. And similarly, if we want to convert all things in upper, we can use upper method. So machine learning. So count is very useful. Counts how many time a string appears in a string, in a substring. Like if we want to check how many times A has occurred in this string, like machine learning. So you can, so it is saying that it has occurred to them. Or you can even give some characters, like suppose if you give AR. So if you want to see whether AR has been repeated and how many time it has been repeated inside a string. So it has been repeated one time, and this is repeated here just once. And if you, let's say, if you want to check for IN, so it has been repeated two times, so it should give the count two because it has been repeated two times in machine also and in learning as well. So next is find method. So it will find the index of first occurrence of a substring within the string, and it will return -1 if it does not found any in that substring. Like if you want to know the position of this learning from where it is starting in a particular string, so we can do that with the help of like example.find, and inside the parentheses you put the string which you want to find, which you want to know the position. So the position of learning, it is telling that it is 8. So we can, you can check also that, like where we started with this. Yeah, here. So the position of, it will give us you the starting position of that phrase or that word. So like 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So learning is starting from 8. So it will give you that. And similarly, if you want to find something that is not in that string, then it will give you the value -1. And then there is a replace method. So replace occurs when you want to replace certain substring within a string with a new substring. So, but we understand that, like if you want to replace the entire, like if we want to replace this machine with D, and our original variable, original string was machine learning. So after replace, we'll get deep learning. So next, it's crucial to remember that these methods do not modify the original string due to string immutability. These are just creating some shallow copy. Instead, they will return new string objects with the applied changes. Like if we want, like suppose if we have performed this method, but now if we want to see what is stored in this example variable, you will still see uh, see machine learning. So it does not alter the original variable, and it just, it, like it said, that it return new string objects with the applied changes. And if you want to keep the changes permanent, so you can store it in different variable, like modified example is equals to example dot replace, and now the changes will be stored in this variable. So modified machine intelligence, like learning has been replaced with intelligence, and the example string will remain as it is. So now next we will be moving on to string formatting. So string formatting is how to write, how to print, or how to write is a certain set of string. If we take a value from user, if we want to give another value, like suppose this name and this last name are changing frequently, and you want to print the full name every time. So every time you'll have to come here and change. And if there are multiple lines having same kind of problem, so you can use F strings like F combining the two gives, then give the placeholder for the variables which you want to place here, like give the place first name, last name. So if let me run this code. So combining the two gives Ananya Iyer. So let me just replace this with this one, and let's see what do you expect will happen. So these are just placeholders, so it will give Iyer Ananya. So anything you place in this placeholder will be taken first. So this is is one of the important ways of writing or combining the two given. So more complex string with additional text and variable, like uh, if you have many number of variables and if you want to print this information many a times, then it will be difficult to change each and every first name and last name. So here what you can see is you just write, my name is Ananya Iyer and I'm an engineer. And if you change the name, you just have to change here like let's see, Sudhir, let's say Sudhir. So here also just you can change, and you have to just change at one place and the changes will automatically take place. So concatenate is strings to form a full name. This we already saw that using the plus operator or concatenation sign, this can be done. And next we have, if you want to find certain string, if you want to check whether a particular string is present in a given string, like my string is equals to Nikola Tesla. So checking if Nikola is in my string or not. So it's clearly it's there. Nikola word is there. So we'll get true. And if we want to check word which is not like Nikolai is in my string, so if you want to check that, so it will give us the result false. So these are some of the methods and function of a string. And actually, since the string is immutable, so we have very limited number of methods and functions. Since list is mutable, so it offers wide range of functions and methods, which we'll see later. So to start with, I will just introduce list today and how to assign a list to a variable. Will not be seeing any functions or methods associated with list today. We'll be covering that tomorrow, and we'll be covering some other data types also like tuples, dictionary, etc. tomorrow. So lists in Python. So what are lists? A list in Python are ordered collection of items that can be of mixed data types. So it can contain any type of data type, number, integer, float, string, even a list can include a nested list, some other data type like tuple and dictionary as well. So mutability, a key feature of list is their mutability, allowing the modification of elements within the list after its creation, which is not in the case of a string, as we saw. This includes changing, adding, or removing items. Lists can contain any mixed data types, including integer, float, string, like we discussed. Similar to strings, list supports indexing and slicing operations, allowing for accessing, modifying, or extracting any specific element from a list based on our requirement. And list is very important, very important data type. We'll be using list a lot in our data science problem. So list can grow or shrink in size dynamically as items are added or removed since it is mutable. So list can be nested. List can contain another set of lists. And there are many methods and functions. Like some of them I have listed. I'll be covering in whole detail what are other methods and functions tomorrow. So there is append method, remove, sort. Since it is mutable, so we can remove, add, or do some operations like that. So how to create a list? So lists are created within a square bracket and separated by comma. So my numbers is equals to 5, 10, 15. So create a list of integer. And if you will check this type of list, so it will be list type, class is list. So next is a list with mixed data types. So it can contain a list with like this is string, this is integer, this is float, this is again string, this is boolean. So list also support the it's also allow the certain mix of data types as well. So it also has a function similar to string length to calculate the number of items present in the list. So mixed list is showing us the length 5. That means 5 items are present in this list, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So defining a list of like this is just some machine learning models, like if we ML models, linear regression, decision tree, random forest, will be coming across this machine learning model. These are all supervised machine learning models. So you will be covering this as well in detail. So just for demonstration, I've used this. So if we want to access particular element, so like a string here also the indexing starts with 0. So if you want to access the first element of this, you have to give the index position as 0. So this will give you the value linear regression. And similarly, if you want to start access the last element, like we did in this string, you can give -1. And slicing operation is also similar. 1, 2, if we want 1, 2, 3, this means that index position 1 should be included, but 3 should not be included. This means we should get 2 items, 1 and 2, the position. So 0, 1, 2, decision tree and random forest. And like slicing from start index to the end. So like if you want to slice from a particular, like if you want to slice from like second index up till end, so we'll give 2 and colon and then we'll not mention anything. So that will give us the entire thing from random forest, SPM, KNN up to last. And similarly, if you want to start from beginning and up to a particular element, then we can use this operation. And similar to this, we have extracting the last 4 elements, like we saw in the case of string also. So there can be some time error, like attempting to access an index outside the range of the list. Like suppose say length of list is 5 and we are trying to access the sixth element. So obviously it would give us an error. This underscore the importance of knowing the length of your list and assessing indices within its bound, because it can create a problem. Moving ahead, when we solve some complicated or even simple problem, knowing the length in advance is beneficial, because if we don't know, we'll encounter such error that list index out of range, something like that. So here I've also given an example of nested list, like this list contains, this is the opening bracket and closing bracket for main list, and inside this there is a small list 1, 2, 3, and then comma, then 4, 5, 6. And then there is nested and nested list. Within a list, there is nested list. The third element is another list. So how to access the elements within a nested list? Like say, if you want to access the first list, 1, 2, 3. So first row, like you can get nested list 0. So if you run this, so let me do one thing. Let me run one by one, so it will be more clear. So if you want to read this entire list, so it is at 0th position. So if you run this, so it will give first 1, 2, 3. Then if you want to get only this one, so what is the position of this one? So first you have to get that list, which you get with 0. Then again you have to put one square bracket next to it and include its index position. So it is included in the nested list at its 0 position. So here you have given like we have given like nested list 0, 0. So it will give us that one. So if you change this value, like if you want to get this 2 or 3, so you can change the value here and first element. So you can change here also second element of the first row. Similarly, you can get here second row, second element, two. Sorry, I ran that same. So, but and there is you can go on adding the square bracket as many number of time as there are nested. So like here there is third layer of nesting is there. So if you want to access this A, so what we have first you have to access this complete list, which is accessed by position 2. Then you have to come to this list. So this is again accessible by index 2. And then again you have to access for accessing this. This is at zeroth position. So if you want to access the letter A, so you can get that. And similarly, if you change it with one like it was, so you can get B. So you can perform any number of square bracket, keep on adding square bracket in front of the to get within the nesting. So this nesting can be of any data type, like we saw the nesting of just list. So it can be of dictionary or tuple or set, but these data types we have not covered as of yet. So this is just an example. And to access this will also follow similar style, like nesting within nesting. But to access a dictionary, we should give the value of key, which we'll discuss tomorrow. What are the key value pair in a dictionary and how to access those. Other things are same. So let's stop here for today and please revise the things so that you are in tune, you are in sync with what we are learning as we go ahead, so that it is not a burden to learn on a single day. So if you keep on revising or adding to your knowledge little by little, it will be very beneficial, and at last you will be you'll not be in a position that you have to revise everything at once. So you will be in touch. And so yeah, okay. So let's stop for today, and tomorrow we'll be starting from here. So we'll be seeing more methods and function of list, and we'll be covering some other data types as well.